Not about your plans, not about your excuses, not about what you almost did. The world does not reward intention, it rewards execution. You can talk about your goals, you can post about your grind, you can tell everyone what you're going to become, but until there are results, no one cares. And that is not a bad thing, it is power. We grow up thinking effort deserves applause. I tried. I'm working on it. I'll get there soon. But the world doesn't measure effort. It measures outcomes. Nobody gets paid for potential. Nobody gets respect for promises. Nobody gets success for thinking about it. Results change how people see you. Until then, you are just another voice talking about goals. You think your situation is different. You think your obstacles are special. You think your struggles are heavier than everyone else's. But millions of people wake up tired. Millions of people feel unmotivated. Millions of people are stressed. And some of them still show up. Some of them still work harder. Your excuses might feel real, but they are not rare, and they are not powerful. Only action is. Here is something most people misunderstand. Nobody is sitting around thinking about you. Nobody is analyzing your failures. Nobody is obsessed with your progress. People are busy thinking about themselves, which means you are free. Free to fail. Free to start small. Free to improve quietly. You don't need validation. You need progress. It feels productive to talk about goals. It feels productive to plan. It feels productive to watch motivational videos. But none of that moves your life forward. There is a dangerous comfort in preparation. Because preparation feels like movement. But movement without execution is just motion. You can read about fitness for years, or you can step into the gym. You can watch business content for months, or you can start building. The difference is uncomfortable action. We live in a world where people document everything. Gym selfies, late-night desk photos, quotes about hustle. But real work happens when the camera is off, when it's quiet, when it's boring, when it's repetitive. The strongest people you know did not build themselves for attention. They built themselves because they refused to stay average. If you want real progress, work harder than you post. There is power in being underestimated. When nobody expects much from you, you have space to grow. No pressure, no spotlight, no noise. You don't need to announce your grind. You don't need to broadcast your discipline. Let the results speak. Silence is powerful. Because when you finally win, it surprises everyone. The difference is not talent. It is not genetics. It is not luck. It is how you respond. When you don't feel like working, average people wait for motivation. Exceptional people move without it. Average people slow down when it gets hard. Exceptional people get sharper. Average people need approval. Exceptional people need progress. Imagine yourself 1 year from now, 2 versions. Version 1, you kept making excuses. You kept delaying. You kept talking. Version 2, you worked quietly. You stayed consistent. You ignored the noise. Which version earns respect? Which version feels proud? Which version becomes undeniable? Respect is earned in private. At first, nobody cares. Nobody notices the early mornings. Nobody sees the discipline. Nobody applauds the repetition. But one day, the results show. The body changes. The bank account grows. The confidence shifts. And suddenly people say, "You got lucky. You changed. You're different." They never saw the months. They only see the outcome. And now they care. Validation is addictive. Likes, comments, recognition. But validation does not build skill. It does not build discipline. It does not build strength. Real growth happens in silence. When nobody is clapping. When nobody is watching. When nobody cares. That is when you decide who you are. If nobody cares about your goals, good. That means the responsibility is yours. You don't need approval. You need execution. You don't need attention. You need consistency. You don't need sympathy. You need discipline. Work harder than yesterday. Work harder than your excuses. Work harder than your comfort zone. There is a price for everything. There is a price for discipline. There is a price for hard work. There is a price for consistency. But there is also a price for staying average. The difference is this. Discipline costs you comfort. Average costs you your potential. Hard work costs you time. Regret costs you years. Showing up costs you effort. Doing nothing costs you your future. You get to choose your pain. The pain of growth, or the pain of staying the same. Comfort feels free. Skipping one workout feels small. Avoiding one task feels harmless. Delaying one goal feels safe. But comfort compounds. One skipped day becomes a week. 1 week becomes a month. 1 month becomes a year. And suddenly, nothing changed. The scariest thing about average is that it happens slowly. You don't wake up and realize you failed. You slowly drift there. Nobody owes you success. Not your parents, not your boss, not your circumstances. The world does not adjust itself to match your ambition. You must adjust yourself to match your goals, and that requires discomfort. People say they want respect, but respect is not given for trying. It is given for enduring, for staying consistent when it's boring, for continuing when it's hard, for showing up when nobody claps. Respect is a byproduct of discipline. Build strength, build skill, build character, something that cannot be taken from you. Money can disappear, trends can fade, attention can vanish, but discipline stays, mental strength stays, self-respect stays. That is real wealth. This might hurt. You are not special. Your excuses are not rare. Your struggles are not unique. And that is good news, because if others can push through, so can you. You don't need to be special. You need to be consistent. No one cares about your goals, but they will care about your results. Not because you asked them to, but because results are undeniable. Silence the noise. Silence the excuses. Silence the need for approval. And work. Quietly, relentlessly, consistently. There is a phase nobody talks about. The lonely phase. The phase where you are working hard, but nothing seems to change. No visible results. No recognition. No applause. Just effort. This is the phase where most people quit. Because progress feels invisible. You wake up early. You train. You work. You improve. And the world stays silent. No one notices. No one cares. But this phase is necessary. Because this is where identity is built. There will be months where it feels like nothing is happening. You are putting in effort, but the results are slow. Your body changes slowly. Your skills improve slowly. Your confidence builds slowly. And slow progress is frustrating. But slow progress is still progress. Most people quit during slow seasons. Winners survive them. We live in a world of instant feedback, instant likes, instant comments, instant entertainment. But real success is delayed. Effort now, reward later. Sacrifice now, freedom later. Discipline now, respect later. If you cannot handle delayed gratification, you will always stay average. When you start taking your goals seriously, some people won't understand. They will say you changed. They will say you are obsessed. They will say you work too much. But growth looks strange to people who stay the same. You are not here to be understood. You are here to improve. There is a moment that eventually comes. After months of silence, after months of repetition, after months of no applause, something shifts. The body changes. The mindset sharpens. The confidence stabilizes. And people suddenly notice. But what they see as an overnight success was built in silence, in the phase where nobody cared. And that is why it doesn't matter if nobody cares today. Because the work is not for today, it is for the version of you that is coming. Keep building, keep working, keep showing up, even when it feels invisible. Especially then, no one cares. So become undeniable. No one cares. And that is your advantage. Because you can build quietly, you can improve silently, you can sharpen your skills without pressure, and when the results finally show, they won't be able to ignore you. Not because you talked, but because you worked. Not because you complained, but because you endured. Not because you asked for attention, but because you earned respect. No one cares, so work harder.